In this video, we are going to talk about some analytic trigonometry and the angle sum formula. So we have four angle sum formulas, or a couple pairs. We've got our sine sum formula, which if we have two angles being added, we've got the sine of u cosine of v plus the cosine u of sine v. If we have a difference of two angles and we want to find the sum, it ends up being the same thing but with a minus. Cosine, well, cosine gives us cosine of the first angle times cosine of the second angle, and minus the sine of the first and the sine of the second. Notice that the positive and negative sign here is the opposite. And if we're subtracting two angles, we're going to be adding those. And yes, these are definitely things that we should have memorized, so keep working on that. Sometimes you'll see them written like this, the sine of u plus or minus v. And this is just both of those formulas put together here, all right? And so it's always going to be sine, cosine, cosine, sine. And notice if it's positive here, it'll be positive there, minus, minus. The cosine of u plus or minus v, well, it's going to be cosine, cosine, and sine, sine for our terms. But these symbols are reversed because if it's plus, we're going to subtract. If it's minus, we're going to add, just like we had on the last screen. Well, let's see how we can use this. We know lots of nice, neat angles, like 30s and 60s and 45s, or pi over 6, pi over 4, pi over 3, things like that. We know how to find the sines, cosines of these. But now, what if we want the sine of 75? How can we find that angle? Well, to do that, we need to use our angle sum formula. So if we want 75, we go through our common angles, which are things like 30, 60, and 45. And we notice that this is the same as saying the sine of 30 plus 45. Those are two angles we do know. Now using the formula, we have a plus here of u plus v. We need to rewrite it as sines and cosines. So it's the sine of the first angle, which is 30, times the cosine of the second angle, which is 45. Same symbol here, plus the cosine of the first angle, 30, times the sine of the second angle, 45. And from our unit circle, we know that the sine of 30 is 1/2. Cosine of 45 is root 2 over 2. Cosine of 30 is going to be root 3 over 2. And the sine of 45 is root 2 over 2. And now we can multiply that up. This is root 2 over 2 plus root 6 over 2. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's try that again. We have actually over 4s, right? So we have root 2 over 4, because 2 times 2 on the denominator here. 2 times 2 here gives us root 6 over 4. And when we put that together, the top is root 2 plus root 6. We cannot combine those, but we have a common denominator 4. And there's our answer there. So that is the exact value for the sine of 75. Well, how about the cosine of 7 pi over 12? Well, we think through our angles here, and notice that 3 times 4 is 12, so that's kind of a clue. And if we check it out, pi over 4 plus pi over 3 is going to equal 7 pi over 12. And so those are our angles. Let's use our cosine formula. Cosine of pi over 4 times the cosine of pi over 3. And let's write this out first. This is going to be the cosine of pi over 3 plus pi over 4. And that's going to give us cosine of pi over 3, cosine pi over 4, and it's going to be minus sine of pi over 3 times the sine of pi over 4. Okay? And that's going to give us, let's work that out. So this is our pi over 3 cosine. It's going to be a half. That's going to be root 2 over 2 minus the sine of pi over 3. That is root 3 over 2 and root 2 over 2. And this is going to end up, after doing the arithmetic here, root 2 minus root 6, and I'll let you work that out, all over 4. Okay? Now, if we wanted the tangent of 75, we would say the tangent of 75 is equal to the sine of 75, which we know, over the cosine of 75. And I'll let you work out the cosine of 75, but it ends up being this. The sine of 75 is root 2 plus root 6 over 4. The cosine is root 6 minus root 2 over 4. The 4's will cancel, and we get root 2 plus root 6 over root 6 minus root 2. And there's your answer. And that's how it's done.